Alright, I am back. So, we left off with just an informal introduction to Python, and let's get stuck right in. We're gonna make the best text slash turn based RPG on Python in existence. Let's go. In the following examples, input and output are distinguished by the presence or absence of prompts. Okay. So inputs, I'm guessing, will be the three greater than symbols, and the output will be the three ellipses. To repeat the example, you must type everything after the prompt. What? To repeat the example, you must type everything after the... Oh, right, I get it. Okay, so there are some examples are given below. So, for example, these, and, all these stuff. And just, you have to type them after this thingy. That's fine. Yeah, comments in Python start with a hash character. My point still stands. Absolute barbarians. Just complete barbaric. Completely uncivilized. Like, come on, why can't you be normal? But then, to be fair, normal's boring. But anyway, and extend to the end of the physical line. A comment may appear at the start of a line or following white space or code. Okay, but not within... Oh, sorry, I had a yawn there. But not within a string literal. So you can't chuck this inside a string. A hash character with a string literal is just a hash character. Right, okay. Since comments are to clarify code and are not interpreted by Python, they may be omitted when typing in examples. Okay, this is the first comment. This is second and now third. This is not a comment because it's inside quotes. Okay. Using Python as a calculator. Let's try some simple Python commands. Start the interpreter, wait for the primary prompt. Okay, so here's the interpreter. In Windows, you just hit, what do you call that thingamajig? The Windows R, which means just run. And you hit PY. If you can't hit PY, then hit Python Python and then whatever version number with no space. So for example, in my case, it's 3.7, so Python 3.7. But for me right now, it's installed directly. It's not installed via Microsoft Store. It's installed via third party. So it's fine. I can just write py, enter, and here it is. So let's see what we got. Interpreter acts as a simple calculator. You can type an expression and you can type an expression at it, and it will write the value. Expression syntax is straightforward. The operators plus, comma minus, comma, asterisk, and slash work just like in most other languages. For example, Pascal or C. Parentheses can be used for grouping. Okay. So we can do math. That's cool. The numbers, example 2. Oh my god, why did I say 1? Idiot. Is it 2, 4, 20, have type int. The ones with fractional part, for example 5.0, 1.6, have float. That's pretty basic, we know that. We will see more about numeric types later in the tutorial. Division, which is the slash, always returns a float to do floor division and get an integer result discarding any fractional result, you will use the double slash operator. To calculate remainder, you can use that. Okay, so the double slash operator is kind of handy because now I don't have to convert crap. Like in C#, you always had to be like convert dot to whatever the hell you want, like to int32 or something. And that kind of sucked. But hey, this is pretty neat. I think this is kind of one of the reasons why Python is, what do you call it? Well, it's higher level for sure. Well, actually, no, this operator is just pretty, it doesn't matter to me. But anyway, I'm pretty sure this is just the surface. Oh, sorry about that. I'm getting kind of tired. I've been at this for a little bit, but anyway, with Python, it is possible to use the double asterisk operator to calculate powers. Okay, so that's pretty sick. Okay. I'm not gonna do it right now because if this thing is a tried and tested thing, what's the point of doing it right now? The equal sign is used to assign a value to a variable. Afterwards, no result is displayed before the next interactive prompt. Okay. If a variable is not defined, assigned a value, trying to use it will give you an error. Try to access an undefined variable and name. Okay, that's not defined. Okay, that's fine. There is full. Wait. What? Okay, so it's a little unclear, but okay. If I type n, name is not defined. Okay, so apparently it recognizes in, but that's a bit weird. Name is not defined. It's acting as if I've already. Right, so in C# or any other language like C++ or Java, the civilized languages, usually you have to declare your type, but that's fine. But the thing is, the thing about declaring the type is that you can, I mean, it's a little restrictive. Well, not too much actually, but basically what it does is you now have that type in memory. You have that variable in memory that you can access later on. So, which is kind of neat. But right now, how do you instantiate a variable? Because if you type n, you are. I mean, this is just a Python interpreter, so it shouldn't really pose too much of a problem. But it just kind of makes it awkward because how are you going to differentiate between calling a variable and declaring a variable? Because right now it's thinking I'm calling it, but what if I'm just straight up going like, okay, so here's n, I want you to store this in memory. It's got nothing in it, but just keep it reserved. But in this case, wait, unless it's doing both, unless it's making it and calling it, which is kind of weird. That kind of makes it ambiguous-ish. Or is it making it ambiguous? I don't know, maybe I'm using the wrong word, but that's kind of weird. Okay, so n equal boy, or no, I meant to do boy, not by. Name boy is not defined. Alright. So it did. So it did instantiate. N is now a reserved spot in memory. That is weird. That is. Yeah. Okay. Right. What if I do R equal boy? Oh right, yeah. Boy's not actually right. R equal so it should act like a yeah. It does. It acts like a variable. So it is a variable. Of course, I'm actually being an idiot. It should be R equals then your that thing. That should store as a string, right? Yeah, that stores as a string. That means if I do R plus 3, it should give me 23. No, no semicolons. This is Python. The most barbaric language ever. What? Can only concatenate string, not int to string. What? But it lets you do that in flippin' C#. What is this? Right. Why am I learning Python? Anyway, there's full support for floating point operators with mixed type command. Operands convert the integer operand into floating point. So multiply that and minus. Okay. Okay, so that kind of neat. That's kind of neat. So 4 times n minus 1. Okay. Right. Sure, it's not really out there. It's the same as C#. It does return in this. Yeah, it does. It's returning. So, yeah, it's just saying that if you put like an int and you multiply the int by any weird number, which then results in a float. No, sorry. If you do any kind of operation with okay, imagine you have one thing. Okay, in this case, you have an integer. The operator is doing something with an integer and a float. So because of that, it converts the integer that's being operated on to a float, and then your output is then a float. Next, in interactive mode, the last printed expression is assigned to the variable thing underscore. Yeah. This means that when you're using Python as a desk calculator, it's somewhat easier to use calculations or continue calculations. Why can't I read? Also, I did not install Python for 3 gigs just to use this as a desktop calculator or a desk calculator. Honestly. But yeah, anyway, that's actually kind of neat. A little bit at least. I don't have to manually store it. This variable should be treated as read-only by the user. Don't explicitly assign a value to They put a Python. No, not Python. They put a hyphen there. But no, wait. That's supposed to be a hyphen. I'm just being an idiot. I thought that was supposed to be the underscore. But anyway, you would create an independent local variable with the same name by the same name masking the built-in variable with its magic behavior. Okay. In addition to int and float, Python supports other types of numbers such as decimal and fraction. Python also has built-in support for complex numbers and uses the J or capital J suffix to indicate the imaginary part. Right. Imaginary numbers, those are fun. Like when you're trying to do the square root of 49, and then you'd have imaginary number 7. No, not 49, sorry. Minus 49. Then you'd have the imaginary number -7? I think, yeah. You get the imaginary. Well, I don't know what you get. I haven't done imaginary numbers yet. I'm not in uni. Calm down. Anyway, next, strings. Besides numbers, Python can also manipulate strings, which can be expressed in several ways. They can be enclosed in single quotes or double quotes with the same result. Backslash can be used to escape quotes. Okay. So you use that to escape the single quote. Or use double quotes instead. Okay, that's kind of useful. A little bit at least. That's weird. What's going on here? Oh right, never mind. That's never mind. It's just it's including the I didn't notice I was including that part there. It's fine. Yes, it's said. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then you have your backslashes to escape them. So it's kind of versatile, but it's kind of weird. So it's a funky language. In the interactive interpreter, the output string is enclosed in quotes and special characters are escaped with backslashes. While this might sometimes look different from the input, the enclosing quotes can change, which is kind of what I was thinking. I was like, this is kind of weird. I don't like this. The two strings are equivalent. String enclosed in double quotes if the string contains a single quote and no double quotes. However, it is enclosed in single quotes. What? Wait. The string is enclosed in double quotes if the string contains a single quote and no double quotes. Otherwise, it is enclosed in single quotes. Okay. I'm just gonna have to. The print function produces a more readable output by omitting and printing this. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be a little weird, but it's fine. We'll get used to it. In case you don't really fully understand, don't worry about it. We'll get there. When we're managing inputs from the user, we'll straight up do that. Or when we're managing our outputs to the user. Sorry. So for example, imagine in your RPG you just straight up shot a buckshot into your man. Then it just says when you're printing out your man take a buckshot to the chest, he's bleeding out, and you're dead. But anyway, next. This is just what I was talking about, but it's fine. You can just have a look at it. I can't be bothered. I need to speed run this. If you don't want characters prefaced by the backslash to be interpreted as special characters, you can simply use raw strings by adding an R before the first quote. Okay. I'm mainly gonna be using double quotes, but anyway, string literals can span multiple miles. So one way is to use triple quotes. Triple quotes. Right. These guys are barbaric. Anyway, lines are automatically included in the string, but it's possible to prevent this by adding a backslash at the end of the line. The following example produces the following output. That thing, okay. That's pretty useful. Okay. Strings can be yeah, that's what I was trying to do beforehand, but that didn't work. Strings can be concatenated or glued together. In this case, I like that. Glued, like that. With the operator plus and repeated with the asterisk. Name. Anyway, two or more string literals, i.e. the ones enclosed between quotes next to each other, are automatically concatenated. So that, okay. This feature is particularly useful when you want to break long strings. Put several strings within parentheses to have them joined together. I am so going to use that. Well, actually, I'm going to mainly using this thing here. Where is it? Yeah, there you are. That's going to be pretty epic. Anyways, two or more string literals, i.e. the ones enclosed within. I'm reading the same thing again. Come on, I need to go here. Okay, this only works with two literals, so not with variables or expressions. Right. If you want to concatenate variables or a variable and literal, use plus. Okay. Strings can be indexed, subscripted into file. Okay, so they're already lists. That's pretty neat. So you can just get the character positions. Negative is counting from the right. Kind of weird, but it's there. And then, oh, right, okay. No wonder this thing is used for data analysis. It's very frisky. In addition to indexing, slicing is also supported. While indexing is used to obtain individual character, slicing allows you to obtain substring. Cool. In C# you usually had to use a substring, but now you don't. I mean, to be fair, in C#, strings could also just be, returning characters. But, oh yeah, another thing is, I think I read this somewhere. Characters don't exist in Python. Instead, they're just strings with one, what do you call it, just one length. Outer range slices are handled gracefully. Epic. Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can just have a look at that. That just kind of explains what this is. But anyway. However, outer range slicing. Wait. Sorry, I looked at this again and I was like, wait, what? I'll check that later. The strings cannot be changed; they're immutable. Therefore, assigning it to an index position to a string results in an error. If you need a different string, you should create a new one. Jython. That weird. Built-in function len returns the length of a string. Sorry, I was reading this part. My bad. I kind of wasn't talking to you there for a second. Just some methods and stuff. Okay, that's fine. Supercalifragilistic. Good luck to any dyslexic person watching this. Not saying I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying that I don't like this word. That's all I mean. I'm not saying dyslexic people are bad. Don't like the way people just try to jump at each other and they just be like, oh no, he mentioned dyslexia, he must hate disabled people. First of all, do your homework. Second of all, if you call that offensive, then what is not offensive? Like, how do you refer to a dyslexic person then? Or how should you talk about them? Like, it is quite frankly just, it's a condition. It's like, I mean, it's not actually, I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying that dyslexic people can't. I mean, they can, but it's just difficult. It's not too easy for them. Just don't say that I'm being enableist or whatever the word is. Because, like, come on, I have a friend who's dyslexic. He's pretty epic. So, lists. Python knows the number of compound data types used to group together other values. I thought I read that wrong, but apparently I didn't. The most variable English, the most versatile in the list, which can be written as a list of comma-separated values or items between square brackets. This may contain items of different types, but usually the items all have the same type. Okay, that's kind of cool. The fact that lists can contain different items. Okay. Usually lists in C#, you have to just stick with one. Arrays, lists, anything. Okay. Indexing returns the item, okay. And slicing returns a new list. Cool. Next. All slice operators return a new list containing the requested elements. This means that the following slice returns a new shallow copy of the list. What the hell is shallow copy? Does that mean there's a deep copy? What? Yeah, okay. All slice operations return a new list containing the requested elements. This means the following slice returns a new shallow copy of the list. Does that mean it's a reference? Question mark? Like, you have reference variables in C# where you don't actually pick up the variable and return it. Instead, you just take the variable and you reference to it. So you don't actually go as in you don't actually load up the variable. Instead, you leave the variable as it is. You don't load it up. All you do is just be like, yo, can I just see what stuff you have? And then that's it, really. I think, at least. I think that's what reference variables are. I'm not entirely sure. I need to learn that. How long has this been? Half an hour. I've been blabbering to myself for more than an hour. The lists also support operations like concatenation. Okay. That is pretty epic. So, okay. Unlike strings, which are immutable, lists are a mutable type. Epic. It is possible to change their content. It kind of sucks that you can't change like the content of strings. You can also add new items at the end of the list by using the append method, which we will see more about methods later. But we're the one who's got to be using methods. Anyway, cubes, append. Okay. Okay, I get it. Never mind. So that's fine. That's fine. Just add it onto the end. That's pretty epic. Assignment to slices is also possible, and this can change the size of the list or clear it entirely. Okay. Built-in function len also applies to lists. Cool. It is possible to nest list, apparently, okay? Create lists containing other lists. For example, A equal, then N equal, and then X equals A and N. That is epic. This is so high level, I'm not used to this. When I say high, okay, just so for you all to know, high level doesn't mean more advanced. No. If high level means that everything is, to simply put, it's so much more readable by any normal Joe. Don't ask who that person is. Otherwise, someone will point a finger at you and laugh. Or respond with the most immaculate response ever. Anyway, next. First steps towards programming. Of course, we can use programming for more complicated tasks. Okay, so we've seen ifs. Now we know whiles also exist, which is epic. So that's how you use loops in. So inputs. Okay. Okay, that's pretty. That's epic. This example introduces several new features. The while loop executes as long as condition here a is less than 10 means true or remains true. In Python, like in C, any non-zero integer value is true. 0 is false. The condition may also be a string or list value. In fact, any sequence, anything along with a non-zero length is true. What? I'm just gonna use while loops the way I usually use them, because I cannot comprehend what the hell this is. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just overcomplicating this. Empty sequences are false. The test using example is a simple comparison. The standard comparison operators are written the same as in C. So that's less than, greater than, equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and not equal to. Epic. The body of the loop is indented. Indentation is Python's way of grouping statements. At the interactive prompt, you have to type tab or spaces for each indented line. In practice, you will prepare more complicated. Sorry, I was looking at that indentation. You'll prepare more complicated input for Python with a text editor. All decent text editors will have auto indent facility. When a compound statement is entered interactively, it must be followed by a blank line to indicate completion. Since the parser cannot guess when you have tapped the last line. Note that each line within a basic block must be indented by the same amount. Epic. So the print function writes the value of the arguments with the print function writes the value of the arguments it is given. Okay. Wait. So this acts okay. Right. Right. Okay. So because of the fact that strings are immutable, you can't use plus. So the print be like. So I can't. Okay. So console.writeLine in C# or even in Java where you're doing system.out.println. I'm gonna call it ln from now on. Usually you just put the plus in and it will chuck everything into one string, which is pretty epic, and it does it for you. But now, because the strings are like, no, you can't add anything more to me. The print now works like it works with a single. I mean, you have to overload it now. You don't have to overload the method. You have to use one of the overloads. The question is, how many overloads can the method take? Unless it's just infinite. Like it's already pre-programmed to do that. I've never actually encountered that kind of thing before. It's kind of weird. I'm going to put a counter of the amount of times I say this, but Python is barbaric. The keyword argument end can be used to avoid the new line after the output or the end output with a different string. Or end the output with a different string, sorry. End equal. Okay. Right. That's all okay. Anyway, since that thing, okay, since double asterisk has higher precedence than minus 3 is okay. So bitmask works. To avoid this and get 9, you can use, okay, that is epic. Like, technically that is what's supposed to happen, technically. But because of, sometimes you just have to do that. Anyway, unlike other languages, special characters such as \n have the same meaning with both single and double quotes. The only difference between the two is that within single quotes you don't need to escape the double quotes, but you have to escape the single quote, and vice versa. So it's just kind of interchangeable. Right, I'm gonna end this episode here. We've been talking for 40 minutes now. I'll see you later.